us three. How are y'all doing, Scott and Riley? How y'all doing today?
It may be a Monday, but I'm feeling really pumped this week. I don't know what it is. The vibes are high. Last week we had this just horrendous snowstorm here in Ohio and across like the
Mm-hmm.
entire country, basically. But this week I'm ready to go. I'm going to Region 3 student lead on this week as well. So I'm hype.
Nice.
I'm hyped for that. So just I'm hyped today. It's Monday, but I'm hyped.
And where's Region 3 student lead on going to be at?
It's gonna be at Purdue, at West Lafayette in
Okay,
Indiana. So yeah, very
nice.
excited.
So we're in Louisiana. Then we're going to turn around in a couple of more weeks. We're in Dallas, Texas, and then we're going to turn around in a couple of more weeks. We're going to be up there in National Harbor.
Heck yeah.
Listen, the life that Riley is living right now, I absolutely love it. I
Well
know we got.
traveled.
We got some students that's a little jealous. I know there's some students a little bit jealous. Riley, tell them how they could get into your position when you're traveling in all of these different areas.
Ooh, what a good segue.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, our student leadership team applications just closed on January 30th, but that is a great way to get involved with NERSA and be involved with our member network. Outside of those opportunities, though, you can be involved in your state associations. And usually, if you have a state association, they're looking for a student representative for your state.
Yep.
Or another great way to get involved is through the NERSA National Championship Series or your Regional Champ Series. All of those different opportunities provide you with reasons to go travel, whether that be for a conference, that could be for an officials clinic, that could be for some other professional development opportunity. But those opportunities are well within reach for students. It's just a matter of sharing that information with them and making those students know that those things exist. But that's a little bit on how you can get involved.
Nice, nice. I know the championship series just finished up with flag football, and now they're into getting into nationals with basketball. We're hearing a lot going on with the championship series. Some really big partnerships going to be announced pretty soon. So a lot going on with the championship series. Scott, how much traveling you going to be doing in the next month?
Well, let's see. So I will be also going to ERSL and the at the latter part of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Super excited for that. So been to Dallas before. Love the place.
Nice.
It's going to be a great time. It's going to be my first one. I think I've said that before. So I am especially excited to learn about what ERSL entails and work with students and young professionals there to look for opportunities and to uh, gain knowledge in terms of how we can make campus recreation more open for those folks.
We got 20 days left before ERSL jumps off down there in
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas. Look, you still have time to register. We still open the
Mhm.
register to get on down there. Now, I heard to the grapevine that the hotel rooms are filled up already, so you might have to get
Ooh.
a hotel
Ooh.
close to the campus. But the one that we have connected with registration is already booked up. So,
That's a
great
great
time.
sign.
Yes, so that's a great sign that is going to be a great time down there in Dallas. So let's talk a little bit about conference. This episode right here of
Yeah.
Member Network Mondays, and for y'all who this may be your first time joining us for Member Network Mondays, I have the Member Network team here with Scott and Riley, who are leaders of the Member Network. And the first Monday of each month, we want to make sure we jump off by understanding that NERSA is member first. So we deemed the first Monday of the month Member Network Mondays, where we're going to get together and kind of talk about the things that's trending and going on within the NERSA network. So today, I want to really dig in to, of course, it's conference season and conference is coming up. And with conference comes, you have the financial piece of conference. For you can want to be there, but there's always a financial piece to get into where you want to be at the conference. So, and that right there calls for discussions on sites. Now, I work for NERSA now, but I'm not far removed from these conversations right here and talking to my director and trying to get him to understand why I want to go to conference this year and what the benefits are going to be for me going to conference this year. I still remember those conversations. Who's going to be going with me? Who I'm going to be rooming with? Who I'm going to be traveling with? Making my traveling plans and things like that. There's a lot that goes into us get into conference. It's not just the decision that we want to go. But what I want to do is I don't want to sell conference today. We talked a little bit about this before we went live. I don't want to sell conference today. I just want to talk about the experience of conference. Both of y'all have been to conferences within NERSA. I've been to a conference with NERSA ever since I started in NERSA 5 years ago. I was at every single annual conference that we have. It was that important to me just from the first experience at conference. I knew this was a place that I wanted to be at every year. So I want to talk to y'all too about a couple of things that goes into being a attendee at conference. And the first thing, of course, is the members. Let's start off with the members. Tell me a little bit about your experience with the members that you did know, that you linked up with before conference even came about, and you was like, "Hey, I'll see you when we get there." And some of the new members that you met. It is there a time that you remember? Like, is there a experience that you remember when it came to the members when you went to conference one year?
Yes, I'll take this one way. At my very first NERSA conference, which was at Pittsburgh in 2023, I was going to be graduating that May as a senior or fourth year at University of Wisconsin Madison. I had just decided, let's do campus recreation, let's pursue this as a career path. Um, Obviously, my professional staff encouraged me to go to the annual conference, and I was the only student to go from my school. So I was the only student going from UW Madison to represent us. That was kind of nerve-wracking experience because I was like, I don't have any of my peers like to help me through this. Thankfully, we had some really great professional interns that went along with me, but one person in particular, I'm name dropping in this.
I like it.
One person in particular that I met that just like gave me such good energy and good vibes and just helped me feel more comfortable with where I was at was Jonathan Johnston, who is
Oh,
at East Texas A&M University. Um, and like, I don't know, he just felt like someone that I could just, be myself with and learn about the NERSA annual conference. And so I kept seeing him throughout the conference that year. And I was like, oh, I love that guy. And now it's turned into something where I am so excited when I see him at other annual conferences. Like I'm looking for him and I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to see Jonathan here. Like
yeah.
it's the most random thing. But yeah, I also met Greg Jordan as well. And so those are some faces that I'm like constantly looking for because I know like Greg's a legend. But other than that, some of the students that I've had the pleasures of serving internships with, whether that be out at UCLA, UW Madison, or even here at Ohio State, being able to reconnect with them at our annual conferences is so much fun.
Yeah.
We're able to, it's almost like we've not even like been apart. We just start right back up where we left off with all of that good stuff. So it is so much fun to be able to see all of those folks there and to continue to foster and sow those connections.
It's always amazing that in a event center of hundreds and in a lot of years thousands of people, that face you seek out, like you go in there knowing that this is the face that I'm looking for, and somehow you always find that face. Like, and for me it's not like I'm in a session or something and I see him. I catch him walking in the midst of hundreds of other people, and I'm like, that's the person that I met last year. So those experiences has
Mhm.
always been great. And somebody, our great people at Matrix and Rebecca Peoples at Matrix. One year she said that one of the greatest things is being in that registration hallway and just looking at the barrage of hugs that's coming when people see each other for the first time, hasn't seen each other since the last year at conference, and when they come together in that registration hallway, just looking at all of the relationships just in one melting pot. It's just an amazing thing. What about you, Scott?
Well, shoot. So I'm like a couple years older than Riley. So I've been to.
You're not that
I've,
much older.
I really appreciate that, and I
Of course.
thank you for that. Um, So, yeah, I've been to a lot of conferences, and I've been to several championship series events, conferences. What I take away and I learn from is I am appreciative of electronic communication, whether
Mm,
it's email or Instagram or what have you, but it never beats the in-person
yeah,
aspect.
yeah,
It never beats it because um, there is a lack of connection I feel through those particular medias. And again, it's fun to have and it's fun to message every once in a while, but to actually be in the room with the people that you love and enjoy, totally different, and it revitalizes you. It gives you an energy that you've desperately needed because we do it right around toward the end of a semester or quarter, and I know that it's been a heck of an academic year and we're tired and we're like, okay, we're some of us are limping to the finish line at that point. But we see those folks and yeah, we've had electronic communication, we've had something with them. But man, just seeing them in person and just actually like physically shaking a hand, giving a hug, things like that, that is the difference. That is
yeah.
something that really connects people. And because of that, that's what I look forward to every year. So I've got thousands of memories of just seeing people that I haven't seen in a while. Like again, this is the only time I see them year after year
Yeah.
is this opportunity. And again, we can always reach out and we can always talk to each other over email or phone or whatnot, but the actual physical being there, so different. And Riley, to what you've said about faces, seeing faces, um, I see tens of thousands of faces, and I love them all. I'm going to shout out one myself. I don't know if I have in the past, but I'm going to shout out Mr. Mark Williams, Mark the Shark,
Yeah.
over at Notre Dame. That individual, that man, is a mentor of mine, and he is somebody that I look up to. He is cooler than the other side of the pillow, if I could quote Stuart Scott. Like,
Wait,
I
that's
can't,
good.
I can't tell you how much I admire the fact that that guy can walk into a room and not say a word, but you know he's there. That's the kind of presence he brings, and it's not a heavy presence like, oh my goodness, here he comes. It's one of those the room lights up, and the energy just fluctuates and gets greater, and it's because he's walked in because of the conversations I've had with him, and sometimes pep talking me. It makes me feel like I will run through a brick wall. He's a great
Yeah.
coach. And I'll run
Yeah.
through the brick wall for him. He is a person that understands our profession, understands students, and has had personal experience from where he leads. And there's a lot of similarities that I have with him in terms of leadership. But again, if I could be half that, I'm successful. So that's
Nice.
something I look forward to is the connection. And again, electronics are great, but never beats the in-person part.
I
Never.
hear you. Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about sessions. Let's move to sessions. Because for me, I chose sessions that challenged me. You know, I also chose some sessions that kind of affirm like what I was looking for and what I wanted to learn. And really at the end of the day, I wanted to make sure at least one or two of those sessions was going to challenge the way that I thought, because I was fairly new to the recreation field. I came from marketing, outside agency. I came from marketing. So I was fairly new to the recreation field. So I wanted to kind of expand what I thought about the field, what I didn't know about the field, what I thought I knew about the field, and try to get something to change my mind about it. So when it came to the sessions, what were y'all looking for, and was there a time in a session that stood out for you? Like I remember giving my card to someone, and that turned into a relationship that lasted for over 5 years. So sessions, what were you looking for in sessions, and is there a moment that you was a part of a session that really like burns into your mind that this was a great moment for me at conference?
Go first, Riley. Nail it.
I would love to. Thank you very much. Um, what I'm like usually looking for in sessions, since I'm a student and paraprofessional, I'm looking for opportunities that will grow my mindset, will add to that metaphorical toolbox that I have in my back pocket that will help me lead students, lead staff, all of that good stuff. I know last year one session that stuck out to me, I can't quite remember the name exactly, but it was by Rachel or Roach Finley, and she had a session that was about it's like leading with your like your inner voice or something. It was something along those lines about like what your inner voice within you is saying to yourself and like how you carry yourself and your leadership and all of that stuff. And it just helped me take a lot deeper of a look and a deeper dive into how do I lead, what is that inner voice inside me saying, and how can I change the way that I speak within myself to help me become an even better leader. um, that's one session that sticks out specifically, but other ones that have stuck out and helped me are like resume based workshops or about like, hey, what should I even put on my resume? And Scott, I'm going to hype you up. One
Mm.
presentation that I got to go to last year, at least observe for the most part, was Scott's "What the Heck is NERSA"
Mm,
presentation, which was so good. Scott
nice.
literally had the best memes in that presentation that I was like, my
I'm
attention
up to
is
date.
grabbed. Um, but he did a really great job of explaining like what NERSA is, and I think that is it was so helpful as a student, even though I had been on the member network for a year at that point. Just again, being able to relearn about what NERSA offers and learn the things I was like, oh, I actually didn't know that we did that. It was super helpful, but I'm looking for ways to grow myself, whether that's personally and professionally. And so far in the past, like I think three annual conferences I've been to, I've been able to achieve that.
Nice. Scott, you got anything with sessions, Scott?
So in terms of my arc and my career, I'm at a point where I'm no longer specialized in terms of a certain aspect in campus recreation. I came up through competitive sports, so I did
Mm-hmm.
intramural and club sports. But now, as a director, I have to have a more broad based knowledge. So, my experience now is getting to all these sessions that educate me, just flat out educate me, and say, okay, I'm not maybe not well versed in aquatics or some of the other aspects of facility management, but I have the will. I have the will to learn, and I want that, and I want to be up to date, and I want to make sure that we are handling risk management. I want to make sure that we are providing the best programming and facilities for our students on campus. So mine looks a little different than Riley's in that I'm kind of all over the place in terms
No.
um, of content. So I'm looking at not just content that I'm used to, and I still go to those. Like there's a place in my heart for competitive sports, and I will always go to one or two just because that's where my heart came from, and that's where
Yeah.
some of it still lies. But I have to intentionally also, as Riley said, challenge myself and say, okay, I have to learn about these other aspects, and not only just learn about them, but become proficient in them. So I have to go to specifically tailored ones. A good example would be the director's track that's going to be at
Yeah.
the annual. So if you're a director going to this, highly suggest looking at the director's track and being a part of that. But looking at the aspects and the national trends that we as directors have to deal with in campus recreation across the nation, and really learning about what that atmosphere and what those trends are doing in terms of affecting what we're doing in campus recreation and higher education, and how we can turn those things or utilize those things in order for us to better serve our community and our campus.
And you mentioned something about the change and your reason for going for going to conference as you develop your career and as you go in different places in your career. Like you say, we have the director's track, we have the student track. The conference is set to have something for no matter what area of your career you're in. Student, early career professional, mid career professional, where you're just getting to that point where you want to give back to the profession and you want to start grabbing a hold of some of these younger people, to your director role, or what I like to call your legacy role, where you've been around for a while and your sole reason for being at conference is who can you mentor, who can you grab a hold of, and who can you pour back into all of these things that you have gotten and with going into conference each and every year over your career. So that's one of the beautiful things about conference. There's something for everyone. And when I say something, I don't mean just one session or one social or one thing. No, you can go to the conference as a early career professional and stay within the role of an early career professional and do multiple things that's going to benefit you as an early career professional, as a director, as a student. And that's one of the things that I love about the diversity of conference. So now let's talk about exhibitors. Okay, let's talk about the fun thing. Let's talk about when those expo doors swing open and hundreds of
Mm-hmm.
people come flowing into
Yep.
that door. Let's talk about some of the experiences that you have with the exhibitors, because they love to see us coming. And I know for you, Scott, as a director, they definitely love to see you coming
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're a decision maker
Mhm.
on your site. So they really want to talk to you. But let's talk about the experiences that you have with some of the exhibitors in the expo hall.
Yeah. So, my experience in the expo hall, again, varied. It's me looking at what are our greatest needs inside of our facility. What do we need in terms of programming? What can I look at in terms of helping my staff out with their programming? So, whether it's equipment, whether it's software, whether it's um, capital projects, whether it's architecture, there's a little something for everyone. So if you don't have that need currently, it's never a bad idea to make that connection, because in the short future you might have to have a take a look at some of your equipment, or take a look at an addition to your rec center, or take a look at some software to help make things more efficient. So it's not just looking at what you need in the immediate, it's building those relationships to talk about the future with a lot of folks as well. And so, what my suggestion is for that is, as you're going and talking to all these individuals, take a look at some of the exhibits where you're like, wow, I don't know if that fits into our mold right now. But in a couple of years, when looking at my 3 to 5 year plan, in those 3 to 5 years, I might need that. So I'm going to make this relationship right now. So when it comes up later, I've got somebody that I can go to and say, hey, we're ready for this. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, yeah. And for you, I'm interested, or you, Riley, what your experience is on the expo hall. And I'll talk a little bit about my experience. My experience actually came from Pittsburgh, from your very first conference, and is what actually set the stage for the role that I'm in right now with NERSA. So I'm interested, from your level of profession, what are you looking for in the expo hall, and what are those conversations like with vendors?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking for things that as a student would catch my eye, whether that's new technology, new games, or things like that. That excuse me, that I think would catch other students' eyes. I try to take that with a broad perspective to see and search for what I believe students on my campus might be interested in. Then I speak with those vendors, find out a little bit more about that product, maybe get a business card or some free merch because that's always fun.
Yes.
But then I also then I also share that information with my supervisors and those people that have that purchasing power, because as a graduate assistant, I can make some requisitions here and there for some cleaning wipes and some random things. But
Right.
when it comes to expensive equipment or other big products like that, just I don't have the P card yet. Working on
Right.
it. But
You
kind
guys.
of walking through that expo and seeing what catches my eye, seeing what I can learn about these new products and learn about also what other products are provided for something that we might already have, and seeing if there's something that might serve us a little bit better. But that's kind of what I'm looking for, is stuff that catches my eye, but that would also better serve our students too.
Can I
That,
jump in a
go
second
ahead. Yes,
about
go
this?
ahead.
So, there's a lot of myth in terms of students are not decision makers. I think that is completely false.
There you go.
Students
Get it,
make
Scott.
students make tons of decisions daily about what they feel like recreation should look for them. So if you're a student or you're a professional wondering what can I do for our campus, take some students and ask some questions. They're great because they're boots on the ground.
Yeah,
They're involved in your programs and your operations daily. They might see something or have some ideas that of some products or some things that they've seen in the expo that says, you know what, that would work on our campus. Let's talk about this. So, just because you're a student doesn't mean you don't make decisions for the campus. You are a primary idea generator.
yeah.
You see something and say that can go with our campus again because you know how the campus runs as a student, as a user of the campus. So go to the expo hall, get some ideas, and then bring them back to your professional and say,
That's right.
hey, we saw this and we are really interested in it. And I think I have some ideas on how we can incorporate it. You never know. Like you could come up with something huge, incorporate it on campus, and it becomes a hit.
In Pittsburgh, there were the interactive areas in the
Mhm.
expo hall where we had the Special Olympics who had
Mhm.
real life pop shot, whole basketball court out there. Then you had the laser tag place who had a whole laser tag field set up, and I remember that capturing me. Like I went back and I was like, hey. We got to find $20,000 because we need this
Yep.
laser tag equipment right here. And again, I was an early career professional, not too far from a student. So I agree with you. You may venture to say that in that student role, you are one of the most important decision makers that's in the room. No, you may not be the one that can swipe the car, but you definitely can go back and have influence on
Mhm.
your site. And with the pop shot, just a quick funny story of how I became the Nurse Alive host. I love basketball. I went over to the Special Olympics table, and you paid $1
Mhm.
to do a shootout with the Special Olympics team. And listen, I lost, and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna give another dollar. I'm gonna play again. I lost a second time, and the team started talking smack to me.
Yeah.
Like started
Mhm.
talking like hey, you can't shoot, and as I'm shooting, they like he can't. Man, look, I took my jacket off. I
Yep.
had a nice little button down shirt. I took the button down shirt off. I gave them $15, y'all.
I've
$15
been there.
because I refused to walk away losing and while I was playing, I was about 5 games in. I said, this is amazing interaction. And
Mhm.
we really don't have anybody covering what's going on right now. And I pitched, hey, y'all need a Nurse Alive host so that when things like this is happening, you have someone that's actually covering these things because these are great interactions at a conference. So that's a little quick story of how the Nurse Alive host became the Nurse Alive host. It was in Pittsburgh at the Pop Shot for the Special Olympics team. Okay, we gotta get on about it. So we're gonna move on to these last two things. The socials. Okay, the socials. That time that you've been conferencing all day, you don't realize how much work conference actually is.
Oh yeah.
You're not just going and having. I remember my director told me, "Hey, if you're going to be there, shut off your emails. Don't even take your laptop there with the idea of working. If you're going to be
Mhm.
there, actually be there." And I didn't realize how important that was until I got there. I'm talking about that conference day was full blown going, 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 going.
Mhm.
My legs was hurting afterwards. A lot of great energy, a lot of great things to take back.
Mhm.
But man, it wears you down. And those socials, at the end of the day, when you're still networking, you're still connected, but you're more in a wind down atmosphere and you're more in a more celebratory atmosphere. Talk a little bit about the socials and your social experiences.
In talking about the socials, we gotta acknowledge the social battery.
Yeah,
I'm one that needs to recharge mine after a big day of networking and all that stuff. So I remember last year when we had our big like NERSA like 75 social with the cake and all of the good stuff. You know, obviously I was there for that incredible like first part of that ceremony there. But once it was time for eating and the socializing part, I was like, I will be right back. I'm gonna go change into some comfy clothes,
Yeah.
yep,
take
yep,
like 15 minutes, maybe half an hour for myself to just like center in with myself, take a second to breathe and relax. And then I was ready to go back downstairs. My battery was like, it was charged. It wasn't like fully
hmm
charged, but it was
correct.
good enough. Get
Yep,
the job done. But I went downstairs and I was able to see a whole bunch of people and meet some new other folks, and see some new faces from conferences that I had just like met them at previously. But being at those socials is such a unique opportunity, and it's also fun to be able to see people involved. Like I remember last year there were some games and things like that. So watching people and just being like, oh, like you're so close at winning this game. Like, oh
yeah,
Mhm.
gosh, like that's a fun part of it as well. And not to mention the food is usually delicious.
yes,
So that's always a plus.
yeah,
Oh yeah. For me, the socials are fantastic in terms of not just connecting and networking, celebration as well. So getting to the person of color social, getting to the LGBT social as well, and having celebrations with everyone. It's a fantastic way for us to connect even further. It's
yes,
an awesome way for us to uh, you could talk shop, but you could also talk a little personally, like, "Hey, how are
correct.
your kids?" Or "Hey, how's life going for you?" Or "Hey, I heard this has happened or that has happened," and really deepen some connections that you've had. And for me, that's exciting. That's one of the more exciting parts of the conference for me because it's my time to go and honestly have deeper conversations with folks, and
Yeah,
it's a time for me to get to know folks better in terms of not just within the field itself, but some personal aspects too that they're willing to share and talk about. So even though it is a little draining on the old social battery, having those conversations recharges me. So I am super excited for this.
and,
I would
and
agree with that.
and also be aware when you at those socials. My very first social, I think it was sponsored by Woodway in Portland, Oregon. I walked away with two job offers from
Mhm.
the social from the
Wow.
social, just
Hmm.
having those conversations, and both I had two directors telling me about their city. One was the city of Birmingham, the other one was the city of Charlotte, North Carolina, side by side. And they're telling me about how the cities are thriving and how it's a great place to live. And they like, you have kids? Oh, this would be a great place to raise your kid.
Yeah.
And so those you're always networking, and that was one reason why I said I got to be at conference every year because no matter where I was, when I had that name tag on, I was networking. I was networking. I was around people, and there was always opportunity right around the corner, no matter where you were. And that was one of the great things for me about being at conference. Okay, last thing, and we can't walk away without talking about this, what you take back home after the conference is over. Okay, you've been conferencing for 3 4 days. You're almost all peopled out because you've been around people for 4 days. And when you're on that plane or you're on that road on your way back home, what are some of the things that you're taking back to your site? Go ahead.
One thing that pops into my head is every time I've gone to the annual conference, when I'm coming back and I get back to my university, I have this renewed sense of passion for the field of collegiate recreation. Just seeing all of the passionate individuals for Campus Rec come together, provide educational sessions. We have the award ceremony, we have the socials, you meet new people, all of those good things, and just seeing all of those people that share the same passion, share those same desires as you do. It's just it's really reassuring, and it just makes you feel good. So for me, it
Yeah.
renews my sense of passion for the field. But other than that, of course, I'm bringing home those new networking connections, and in some cases, I'm able to meet with those folks via like online, of course. Maybe it's about future opportunities that I could look forward to, or maybe vice versa. They're wanting to know about my Ohio State experience, or they're wanting to know about my internship experience at UW Madison. I'm always happy to help however I can. So those connections serve in that way, but also from the aspect of for me for opportunities. And then there's also the idea of the content that you take back with you from those educational sessions. For me, I know I'm not sure if this was an annual session, but one of my coworkers or colleagues, they had a session about flow state and like reaching flow state and stuff like that. And I was like, what is flow state? Now I know about flow states when you literally you're in your flow, you're doing your deep work kind of thing. But now that I know that, I can share that with students, and share that type of those educational things with students, that I think could be helpful, or some things that can inform me as a leader and how I can take that with me on my leadership journey. There are so many different things that you take away from conference, and I wish I could name all of them, but those are just some of the things that come to mind.
Nice, nice. What you got, Scott?
It's the executables for me. So it's learning about what I feel like we can do at our institution from the sessions and the information that I've gotten. So I go there with a what can we do better attitude and mindset, and go to the sessions where I think we can learn something to do better at our institution here. So one thing I take away from that is the ability to bring home things for our professional staff to take a look at and say, yeah, we can do that. Or I don't think we can do that like this, but I think we can give you something similar if we do that. And so it's not just bringing home the exact thing and saying, okay, plug and play, let's go, it's going to work. It's bringing it home and saying, what can we do? How can we fix this, tailor this to what we need in order for us to perform better as a department? And I think that's really important. And I think also, too, Riley's alluded to it, the connections that you make. These are individuals that if I have questions, I email or call. There might be some new folks I got in there like, you know what, you had a really good idea. I want to talk to you later. So it might be an email or phone call later, like, hey, remember that thing we talked about? Let's talk more about that. I would love to know how it's been successful for you, how it could be a success for us, and then again, deepening those connections that we've made. So executables is a big thing I take away as well as a director, and also the connections that I build for the opportunity to do executables.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and Pittsburgh, we took a whole human being home with us. We had a, we had a,
I
there
mean,
was a,
how'd you get that through customs? I don't know how to do that. So that's
we,
on you.
we met a guy, interviewed him on the spot, and say, "Hey, you're hired." We hired him before we even left Pittsburgh. We said nobody else is getting you. And he was a year away from graduating. It was like, "Hey, you're hired. You have a place to work." As soon as you finished, came and did his GA ship down at Jack State University. Shout out to
Mhm.
Rick down there. And after doing his 2 years of GA ship, he is now a professional staff there at Jacksonville State University. Some amazing things happens at conference. Amazing things. You want to be there. Look, let me give some deadlines real quick. Conference is April the 7th through the 10th. Okay. The early bird registration, it closes February 24th. Okay. So you still got 22 days before the early bird registration is closed. Then we got post early bird February the 25th through March the 18th. And then you got late registration where you're going to pay the full price of conference after March the 1st on up until conference time. And look, shout out to our great partners this year in Ideal World Conference. That's going to also be partnering with us, and they're going to bring some aspects of conference that we may have not experienced in the past with their vendors and their members and their idea of what fitness is and their idea of what party and socials are afterwards. We already talked a little bit with the CEO of Idea World. She is so excited about coming to conference and the blending of the two. It's going to be an amazing year in National Horror. We hope you are there. We hope you can join us. I look forward to seeing y'all to there. Now, like you mentioned it earlier, Scott, it's been great. I'll be honest. I look forward to this Member Network Mondays every month. I look forward to kicking off my month with you too. I also look forward to seeing y'all in person and being able to put my arms around y'all neck because I already feel like I know y'all and I just met y'all maybe 4 months ago. So I am so looking forward to being in person with our NERSA members, with our IDEA members, and just having a great time of just impartation of each people of the people that you're around in these sessions and connecting with each other and taking that back home and building on those relationships because it's not over after the conference is over. Yes,
Never.
you still you got to do a little bit more to make sure you're still cultivating the relationships and growing those relationships. But it's not over just because you get on that plane and you're heading back home. Those relationships continue. What you get from conference continue, and it just sustains us until we see each other again. And I can't wait to see y'all at conference. Thank y'all so
Same here, man.
much. So for Member Network Mondays, thank you for joining us. This was extra. This was actually a long one, but not a wasted moment in this conversation. Thank you
Mhm.
so much, Scott and Rowley, for talking to us a little bit about conference and telling the story of conference. And I look forward to seeing y'all in April.
We'll
Looking
see
forward
you
to seeing
then.
you too. Yeah.
All right, y'all have a great remainder of y'all day.
Thanks, you too.